Is YouTube a good career in 2025? Well, let me put it this way. While most people are reading job posts on LinkedIn and begging for a 10% raise, there are people making doctor money from their bedroom or their kitchen. And they're just talking to a camera, no degree required, no boss breathing down their neck, no years of experience BS for an entry-level job, just them, their knowledge, and YouTube. Now, I'm Shane Hummus. I used to sleep in my car. I ate dollar menu items to survive. I was homeless at one point. And then I went to college and I got myself in $300,000 in student loan debt. And now I have a channel with over 1 million subscribers and I make multiple six figures a month. But you might be asking, Shane, was it all worth it to get 1 million subscribers? And Shane, is YouTube a real career in 2025? Well, stick around because I'm gonna give you my honest opinion about it and I'm gonna talk about the pros and the cons. So I'm really gonna try to do my best to help you figure out if it's a good fit for you. Because the truth is, most people don't even get close to having a fraction of the success that I've had in my YouTube career. So if you appreciate me doing this type of candid content, let me know by gently tapping that like button and let's jump into it right now. All right, let's get real. YouTube in 2025 is not what it was 5 years ago. Everyone and their grandma has a channel now. It's saturated, they say. You're too late, they whine. But you know what I say to that? Good. Let the weak ones quit. Because here's what they don't understand. More competition means more opportunity. Wait, what? Yes, you heard that right. There's a reason why you don't find McDonald's and Walmarts in the middle of the desert. Because there's no demand for McDonald's and Walmarts in the middle of the desert. Where do you find McDonald's and Walmarts? At the busiest, most competitive parts of your city. That's where. So while everyone else is making garbage content or they're too scared to start YouTube, if you actually show up and give value, you stand out like a beacon. So let me tell you about one of my clients, Josh. When I first met him, he was making less than $1,000 a month on YouTube. And he was just another IT guy sharing IT and cybersecurity tips on YouTube. But he did something different. He didn't chase views, he solved real problems and built real authority. And guess what happened? Well, he didn't start a 7-figure business overnight. What happened at first is he built up his personal brand and some of the biggest and best companies in the world started sliding into his DMs. And they basically said something like, hey, Josh, want a $200,000 a year job? And yes, Josh got offers from multiple different FANG companies, which, by the way, are harder to get into than Harvard, because he was creating content on YouTube that was helpful to people in his industry. And he accepted a job offer from one of the most prestigious companies in the world. So building your personal brand on YouTube isn't just a way to make side hustle money or even start a business. It's a way to become an authority in your industry, to the point where companies that turn down 99% of applicants start reaching out to you. And it's also a really good way to make side hustle money. So Josh very quickly scaled from less than $1,000 a month to $5,000 a month and then $10,000 a month. And then after a few years of consistent coaching and him putting out consistently good content, he scaled all the way up to $186,000 a month. And yes, he quit his job. And this was with a channel that's smaller than most lifestyle vloggers. And he was making more than channels with millions of subscribers. Quick break. Okay, this is crazy, but we're gonna be doing free YouTube roast sessions this week only. Now, normally people pay me thousands of dollars to tear apart their channel and show them exactly what they're not doing right. But for the next 7 days, we're doing it completely free. We will see what you're doing right now. We'll figure out what you want to be doing, right? What your goal is. We'll make a plan to get there and we'll see if we're a good fit to work together. But this is a limited time thing, right? After this week, it's back to paid only. And if you click the link in the description in the pinned comment below, only the first 5 people are gonna get this session. So links in the description, but hurry because I'm only doing this once. All right, back to the normally scheduled programming. Now let's talk numbers because I know that's what you really want. The average remote job in the United States makes around $50,000 a year. Good remote jobs might make $60,000 to $120,000 a year, which is not bad, right? But YouTube potential, it's on a whole nother level. Just as an example, there's a small YouTuber from a village in India who started his YouTube channel, Physics Walla, and from his YouTube channel, he launched a company that's now worth $2.8 billion. Now, is that typical? Of course not. But is it possible to make $3,000 or $5,000 or $10,000 or even $30,000 or $100,000 a month? Yes, it is. But Shane, that's not realistic. You're right, the way that most people do YouTube isn't realistic. But let me tell you my story and how I did it. I was a pharmacist and I was making over $100,000 a year. And it was really good money and I was living the dream. But spoiler alert, it actually wasn't. Now at the time, I was also a part-time career coach. And I would do one-on-one career coaching with people who wanted to get better pharmacy jobs or get into a better pharmacy school or just career coaching in general sometimes. And so I started YouTube on the side. And in the first month, I made basically zero money. But after a few months, I had some videos pop off and my career coaching calendar was completely full. I got so many one-on-one clients that were paying for 1-hour sessions that I had to completely discontinue my career coaching business and pivot to a different model. And this was all while still working full time. Now, before this, I'd been dabbling on YouTube, but I didn't really treat it like a business. I didn't really take it seriously. And within the first few months of taking YouTube seriously, I scaled to $10,000 a month while still working full time. Then a little bit after that, I scaled to $30K per month. And my boss thought that I was high when I quit. You're leaving a 6-figure job for YouTube? Best decision of my life. First few months after quitting, I jumped to over $100,000 a month because I was focusing on my business rather than just rushing to get videos out, aka working in my business. Now before this, I was working remote and that did give me flexibility, but YouTube gave me true freedom. Big difference, and I'm not special. Another one of my clients, Sean Dolwit, was stuck around $30,000 a month for a long time, but after implementing my systems, within 9 months, he scaled to over $500,000 a month. Another one of my clients, Nicole Anesi, started with 85 subscribers when we first started working together. And after working with me, she did a launch and made it to over $80,000 a month. Another client, Davis, already had a career coaching business himself, but he was making so little money from YouTube that it was actually listed in other. And after working with me for a little bit, his sales boosted to over 400% of what they were doing before. And he scaled from $4,000 a month from YouTube all the way to $32,000 a month. And then eventually he got his YouTube all the way up to having a 7-figure business. And these aren't anomalies, they're patterns. And the reason that most YouTubers fail is because they don't have the right systems. Okay. Time for a reality check, because I'm not here to sell you dreams. Over 90% of YouTube channels fail. Why? Because most people are delusional. They think that they'll post 3 videos about their cat and wake up rich. And unfortunately, that's not how it works, Chief. Now, realistically, the first 6 months on YouTube, it's gonna be brutal for most people. You'll question everything. Why am I talking to a camera? Nobody's watching. This is stupid. And I've been there. We've all been there. But here's what separates the winners from the quitters. Winners understand that it's not about passion. It's about systems, and it's about solving problems for real people. And most creators fail because they have no monetization strategy and they have no system, and they're making content that they're passionate about, but nobody else wants to watch. And the truth is, views don't pay the bills. And there are many creators out there that get a lot of views, but they're still broke. And there's also many creators out there that try to do everything themselves. There's many other creators that pick terrible niches, or there's other creators that just treat it like a hobby. And the truth is, I love hobbies and I have many hobbies myself, but a business is not a hobby. Those are two completely different things. Businesses are meant to solve problems for other people, and the lifeblood of a business is money. So you have to make money. And look, I've seen hundreds of creators fail because they didn't have the right strategy. And it breaks my heart every time because I think most people do YouTube for the right reasons. They want to genuinely help other people. And if you want to avoid these mistakes yourself, I offer free strategy calls where we will map out exactly how to build a profitable channel for you. And not some generic just be yourself advice. Real strategy, real systems, and that's detailed in the description in the pinned comment below. All right, so let's talk about the moneymaker. And this is the thing that almost nobody understands. High ticket versus low ticket. Now, the reality of selling low ticket products and services is that you need millions of views to make real money. If you're selling a $27 template or course and you want to make 6 figures a year, well, you're gonna have to get at least 500,000 views a month. And we're talking long form views. But high ticket, that's where the magic happens. If you're selling a product or a service for anywhere between $3,000 to $10,000, well, you only have to get a few clients a month in order to make a 6-figure income. And it's significantly easier to do. Just as an example, I have a client who only gets about 100 to 200 views per video, and last year they made $2 million. I've got another client who only gets around 500 to 1,000 views per video, and last year they made 8 figures. How? They solve expensive problems, right? They're solving real problems for real people with real money. Now, let me tell you about some real people, and these are not made up success stories. These are real clients who got real results. Antoine Wade. He was a busy father, multiple businesses, full-time job in tech sales, also had other businesses, also had investments, and he barely had time to breathe. And he started working with me, and now he's doing over 100K per month on YouTube. And he's working less on YouTube than he was before. And let me tell you another story. And if you're thinking about signing up with a call with our team, this is a great story to hear. Because when this guy first gave us a testimonial, he only had one call. And that's Dr. Clifford Stumey. Now, he had the views, he had the subscribers, but he had zero money. And one conversation with me added $24,000 per year in annual recurring revenue. One conversation. So if you're still on the fence about booking a call with us, definitely book the call in the description and the pinned comment below. Let's talk about another example, Richard Walls. When he first started working with me, he was making less than $1,000 a month. He was also working full-time for a Fortune 50 company in a really high-level job. And so he was working about 60 hours a week. And he had investment properties, and he had a newborn baby. And he honestly thought YouTube was a pipe dream. But within a short time of working with me, he scaled all the way up to $12,000 a month. And he was still working his full-time job. Notice the pattern here? They all started while working other jobs. And they all focused on solving real problems, and they all built systems, not just channels. And they all monetized through expertise. Now, don't get me wrong, they're probably making a good amount of money from AdSense, but they don't want to rely on AdSense, right? In most cases, AdSense is going to be beer money, but expertise is where the real money is. And every single one of these creators started exactly where you are now, scared, overwhelmed, and doubtful. The difference is they had a proven system, and this is the same system that got my channel to 7 figures a year, and it's the same one that we'll outline in the call in the description and the pinned comment below. Oh, and by the way, for a limited amount of time, we're actually doing an audit that we usually charge over $1,000 for, and this is only going to be available for a few days. So book your call in the description and the pinned comment below. Okay, so here's why now is the perfect time. And I mean right now, not next year, not 3 years down the line, not when things calm down or the economy gets better, right now. AI tools have cut production time by 70% or even more. What used to take 10 hours now takes 3, and it's better, and you can make more of it. And educational content demand, it's at an all-time high. People are desperate to learn. Remote work culture has created problems that nobody's solving yet. Corporate layoffs are pushing talented people to entrepreneurship. And the skill stack that wins in 2025 is subject expertise. And you probably already have this in many things in your life now. Basic video skills. For instance, all you need is an iPhone and natural light, and business systems. And this is where everyone fails. And this is why our clients have had such a massive amount of success. And then of course, monetization strategies. When you're already winning, you want to win even more with the right monetization strategy. And your unfair advantage is that nobody's you. And this is why I advocate to build a personal brand. Nobody has your experience. Nobody has your perspective. And that boring job that you hate, that could be market research for you. Every problem that you've solved at work, that also could be market research for you. Every problem that you've had in your past, you can take those lemons that life gave you and turn them into lemonade, because that is content gold, right? I made videos about how I got a doctorate and I went 6 figures in student loan debt, and guess what? Those videos went viral. But Shane, I work full time. Cool. So did I. So did Josh. So did everyone that I mentioned. So here's an overview of the 4-hour per week system. Sunday, you want to script and batch record 3 videos with your phone. And Monday to Friday, you want to spend 30 minutes editing before work. And then Saturday, you upload and optimize. That's it. No fancy equipment, no complicated setup, just your phone and your knowledge. Now let's talk about a realistic timeline. Now, I've had clients make it to 10K per month from absolute scratch within 18 days, but that is not typical. Usually it's going to take 3 to 6 months of consistent uploading before you hit your first video that really takes off and you start making real money. And that's if you have help from a mentor. If you don't have help from a mentor, then it's likely going to take you years, and most people just give up. Now, with that being said, I started a second channel and I documented it, and with my knowledge that I have today, I made it to $30,000 in the first month. And that's because I applied everything that I knew, and there was no learning curve, just execution. But realistically speaking, not everyone has the expertise that I have, and most people are not going to be able to make it to 30K per month in their first month. But either way, it's your choice. Slow and steady, cool. Fast and furious, that's also cool. Just choose to commit to uploading consistently on YouTube. Whether or not you work with me, that's the secret, is that you consistently upload. And listen, I've helped creators go from 0 to 6 figures over and over and over again. And the biggest difference between the winners and the losers is having the right guidance from day one. Not 6 months in when you're burned out, but day one, right? Think about all the things that you've ever gotten good at in your life. Chances are you got good at those things in a group of other people. And chances are you had a coach or a teacher or a mentor, right? Maybe it was getting good at piano or basketball or some subject in school like chemistry. You got good at those things because you had other people you were doing it with and you had a mentor. But when it comes to getting good on YouTube, for some reason, people just think that they can do it on their own. And you might be thinking, well, Shane, didn't you do it on your own? No, I didn't do it on my own. I had a mentor, Sam, who was already successful on YouTube, and he taught me the basics. And then later, many times I paid for coaching and consulting from people who were where I wanted to be. So don't try to do this on your own. Get the free audit down in the description and the pinned comment below. All right, let's wrap this up. Is YouTube a real career? For most people, no. Most people that try YouTube will fail because most people aren't real about it. They want easy money, they want overnight success, they want to go viral and then retire. And that's just not how it works. But for the right people, the ones who treat it like a business, who solve real problems, who build real systems, it's not just a career, it's the career of the future. And building a personal brand on YouTube is one of the smartest moves you can make, no matter if you just want to start a side hustle, get a much better job, or start a full-fledged business. It's the smart money, but it's not the easy money. And it's simple, but it's also very hard and requires a lot of dedication. But the opportunity is massive, and the window is closing, and every day you wait, someone else takes your spot. So your next step is to start with one video this week, right? Not next month, not next year. Focus on solving one problem and just make one useful video for people in your niche. And the way you want to think about this is just make a video for the younger version of yourself and just focus on solving one problem for them. And that's exactly what one of my clients, Richard, did. All he did was basically just cover certificates and certifications that people are already getting anyways. And you can check out a case study breaking down how he got to 12K per month on YouTube by clicking right here.